Get ready.
Man, I don't ever want to be so woke that me and the KKK are out here agreeing on the same shit. Before they were killing people to keep us from voting. Now we talk ourselves out of the shit.
For real talk.
Before you get out here loud and wrong talking about minimum wages and starter jobs, educate yourself on why the minimum wage was created in the first damn place.
All the time.
You shouldn't be the same person you was 10 years ago. You should be growing towards a better you every day. And the only ones who will be threatened by that are the ones who refuse to grow and are scared their ass gonna get left behind.
Welcome to the Spann Report with your host, Mr. Spann.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spann Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 281 of the report, and right now we are doing a road trip, man. We are not at the Spann Studios, at the crib. We are out here at the Shoptalk Podcast Studios in Oak Park, Michigan, man. I got the homies Jay Johnson over here with me. Say what's up to the people, fam.
What's poppin'? What's poppin'? It's your man. Should I do the intros?
Do the intro, man. Okay. Do it how you do it.
Yeah, what up, though? It's your man Jay Johnson, a.k.a. the tinfoil hat titan, a.k.a. the conspiracy realist, a.k.a. the technology snob, Steve Jobs Jr. Don't text me with your green bubbles, a.k.a. I only debate my equals. Everybody else I teach. Also known as Juice, because all the hoes say, Jay, you ice, young Caesar, because you know you can't roam without me. Mister, if you don't like me, fight me. I got kicked out of Noah's Ark because they couldn't find another animal just like me. A.K.A. the West Side T'Challa, the new leader of Wakanda. Don't debate me, debate your mama. I am the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. What up?
What up, though? We got the homie Dame up in here too, man. Say what's up to the people, man.
What up, though? It feel like that intro took forever, but it's your man Dame going wild. Like I didn't come with one myself.
Right.
You know, the West Side landlord, the pride of PA, High Chief Dame don't fuck around, the liquor store legend, the corner store conquistador, your mama's favorite Dame, and the David Ruffin of the Shoptalk Podcast, because you know who the fuck they came to see. Not you, Otis, is no better than these 4 letters. Thank God for Dame. And if you're speaking on Dame, you better say it nice. And if you don't put the boss in front, then bitch, you're not saying it right. Let's go.
Indeed, man, indeed. I've been listening to these brothers for like the past 6 or 7 months now, man. Like, man, some Detroit podcasters, bro.
Man, we appreciate it.
Some
Man.
Detroit podcasters. Like I was just telling the guys before we got on, man, like I've been doing this for about 9 years. And I'm kind of like pissed at myself that I wasn't really with a whole bunch of Detroit podcasters. And so it was weird. Like I'd be on social media and I'd see a lot of my friends, they were getting into podcasts and they was getting into the game. And I'm like, man, everybody keep going to the same place. I keep seeing these blue and black. Like I see the blue and the black, soundproof. I'm like, man, where's that at?
We doing something right.
Yeah.
We doing something right.
I'm like, where's that at? So I hit Jay up on Twitter. I'm like, yo, man, like, where's y'all podcast at? Because at first I couldn't find it on my app. I'm like, where's the app? Where y'all at? And he was like, yeah, we on iTunes. We on Stitch. I'm like, all right, cool. I started listening. I'm like, I fucks with these guys. So welcome to Spann Report Podcast. But I should say, well, not welcome because I'm in y'all shit.
But no, we guests on your show, man. Thank you for having us.
No
sure.
doubt, man, no doubt. So
we be honored when people ask us to come out to stuff,
Facts.
like because we have a lot of people on, and I mean, I understand how audiences work. Sometimes you can be cool with somebody, but it's just not a good fit. So like, when people invite us out to shit, like I'll be genuinely happy and excited that we get to take our show on the road sometimes.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So first thing I ask everybody when it comes to podcasts, man, was like, what was the genesis, the origin story of the Shoptalk Podcast?
Man. It's really organic.
Yeah.
like as an old married couple. I don't know, me and Jay, just to take it like all the way back, we went to high school together. I was a year older. We ain't necessarily like hang with each other, but I knew the circles he ran with. He knew guys I ran with, so I knew it was, I knew he was a decent guy. Yeah. So we didn't run into each other again until we kind of like started working together. And, as Jay kind of like moved up in the ranks, like he became a somebody up over there, had his own office and shit. So, we kick it in his office about like, we both big boxing fans.
Okay.
I love the sweet science.
Boxing and battle rap.
Yeah. And that's what we would always chop it up about. And these were just like the conversations that we would just have, debate some music shit, just amongst the two of us, like on our 15-minute breaks and shit. So it really just like kind of sparked from that.
And I had an idea to do a podcast, and I always be like, dog, we should do this podcast shit, and we'll kick it. 2 years later, we still hadn't did it. And you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this nigga probably think I'm bullshitting, because like I always say it like, yeah, we gonna do this.
And we talk like we would. I don't want like it's not just some show shit. Like we genuinely friends. So like we would talk all the time, and the shit just never came together. And then like he hit me up in the middle of the week like, hey, we're gonna record this podcast on Friday, and I was like, all right, whatever, because I'm thinking to myself, I mean that's my guy, and we had talked about it. So like. I feel like loyal to my homies to a fault. I was like, all right, we gonna do it. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, this really just like some one Friday shit. Yeah. And it's, I'll see, we'll do it again 4 months from now. And then when he hit me up the next week, it's like, yeah, so we gonna record it this time. Can we record the show? I'm like, oh, this for real.
Yeah.
Like, and we could joke about it now, like looking back, but we used to make so many fucking mistakes. Like people go back and like they listen to some of our old shows and like, oh, this is good. Like, no, them shows was trash. Like we was fucking up every single week.
It's like it's hard for me to listen to some of the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, but people, you look at your stats. I can tell people are still listening to our first and second.
Yeah,
we're 195 episodes in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They go back, and some of that stuff I'd be like, oh man, the content's good, but like
we just didn't. I mean, like we didn't know what we was doing. We just gonna throw the mic in the middle of the room. We just gonna talk.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of podcasting, though, right?
Yeah,
because like now, like when I started the Spann Report, I started with a call center headset and a laptop. And like a teleprompter app. Like if you listen to like the very first episode, probably the first 10 episodes of the Spann Report, the shit sounds scripted. Sound like I'm reading because I was. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So like
you scripted everything.
I scripted everything. but the downfall of that was that like I was trying to be funny. I was modeling my show after somebody else. Right? So I had a mentor who brought me into podcasting, modeled my show after him, and it was hard for me to like make shit funny because I'm not a comedian. So I'm trying to make shit funny. He's naturally good at that. Yeah. That's not my thing. And so what I found out my process was like just get on the mic, say how you feel about the shit that's really bothering you throughout the week. And that's how I just been able to kind of keep it consistent over the course of the last 10 years. And I see that when y'all talk. Like it's just a free-flowing conversation between friends.
Yeah. That's dope, man. This was what we started our first podcast on. This iPad right here. This iPad and
a cheap ass
and a little microphone. This little tiny mic.
Yeah.
And things change after that, but it's fun, man. Like before, like really what I really wanted to do the podcast is for like 2005ish or whatever. I was into music and it was hard getting my company and others on the radio, so I was like, no, we gonna start our own radio station. And I just set one up in my apartment and we put it online, and you would either listen to the show from the website or you can download and listen to it later. But this was before like podcasts, literally before podcasts existed, but essentially it really wasn't nothing but a podcast. You know what I'm saying? And
just didn't know what to call it back then.
We didn't know what to call it. So we rocked out Black City Radio for some months or a year, and it was cool. Life happened, and that kind of fell by the wayside. But one of my partners, he set up a studio in his garage. He turned into Street Hop Radio, and which is still out right now, and that spawned a whole bunch of online radio station joints. And then years later, I'm like, dog, all this shit started technically from some shit I was doing in my living room, and I missed the boat. And I was listening to podcasts. I'm like, dog, I can't miss the boat on this one. So let's finally do this shit. And that was like 2016, you know. So
go ahead.
My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll be honest, I ain't had no interest to know what a podcast was like till we started doing it. So
me neither.
My journey a little bit different. Like I used to actually be on air and radio, so like I was kind of used to like the talking on the mic and shit. Me and Jay both used to do music real heavy and shit. So I mean, we still would always like intertwine when it came to shit. So like I wasn't unfamiliar with just like talking on the mic, but like I just didn't get the concept of like, so it ain't no music. It's just like people having a conversation. And to me, like it just felt like talk radio.
Yeah.
And I don't fuck with talk radio. I just be honest. Like I don't really rock with that shit.
Yeah.
But then like the more I got into it, like I stumbled upon the Combat Jack show. Just like
great podcast.
Yeah, just stumbled into it. And I was like, oh, this what they do. Like they was talking about shit I cared about. So it made it easier I was like, okay, if I can find more stuff like this, then like I can get into it. And that kind of gave me a feel for like, okay, I want our shit to be something different than what we were making it. So like that really helped us like kind of carve a format for like what we're gonna do moving forward.
Yeah.
Man, to your point, when we started off, it's kind of like we found our voices now in the podcast game.
Yeah.
I used to listen to a lot of Brilliant Idiots. I still listen to Brilliant. So my first episodes, I'm like, dog, I'm mimicking a podcast a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it just took us a long time to find. I looking back to our episodes when we first started doing intros. It was just like 1 or 2 sentences. That shit was shaky. Now it's a long drawn out thing, but like it's fun looking back and be like, oh yeah, we was like real green, and now we relatively comfortable in this space. So
yeah, the growth is beautiful, man. The growth is always beautiful. I'm sometimes embarrassed by some of those older episodes.
Me too.
But
you need that though.
You need that, and not only that, like the other part about podcasting that I love is that your listeners can see that growth too, and they get a chance to grow with you too if you're authentic.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So they can appreciate like how far you've come. They go along that journey with you, and that's the intimacy about the podcasting that I love, man.
I mean, it's crazy when we run into people and people reach out to us. They be like, look, I've listened to every episode. Like, it's humbling because, like, really, in the grand scheme of things, like, I'm not a public figure. I'm not a personality per se. Like, that's, I got a regular 9 to 5. I'm raising kids. I'm just a nigga with an opinion. And like, but the fact that people are invested in you, your opinion, what you got to say, like it's a humbling experience.
Definitely.
Now, are you guys ever surprised when have you ever been surprised when you found out that someone in particular was listening to the show?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Somebody walk up on you from work.
Like somebody said something I said on the podcast. Like I saw somebody online, because remember that little clip I was talking about if I had an ugly kid?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I like my kid will be geared up. He'll be geared up. He'll get a haircut twice a week, and he'll shame people because his clothes be better. Like that's what you got to do.
Right.
But like one of my employees at work like came and referenced that, and I was like, huh? And I was like, wow. Like, how'd you find that?
Had to clean up the social media, man.
I had, so there was at my old job, there was a younger lady that worked there, and like I would see, like she pretty as hell, so I see her like kind of giving me like out the corner of her eye in the break room, but like, I'm trying to be a good person. So, I'm not, I wasn't trying to reciprocate it, but it's because she recognized me from the show and had been listening to the podcast. So like that shit caught me off guard because I had never really like, she just wasn't on my radar at work. We in 2 different departments. Like I just see her in passing. And I mean, coworkers find out about that. Like I don't talk about that shit at work because work is work.
Yeah.
But like coworkers stumble upon that shit. Like you said, they'll reference something that you said, or I walked past like a coworker's desk and she was like listening to one of the clips from Instagram. I was like, "Fuck, that's me."
What's wild is like I was on Snapchat. You know how people be doing they snap, and whatever you listening to be in it. Like I heard my voice on somebody's Snapchat. I'm like, and it threw me for a loop for a minute. I'm like, wait a minute. But like, they was snapping and that's what they was listening to while they was in the car. I'm like, that's wild. But I never assume people listen to my podcast. Like, I don't assume that even my friends listen. You know what I'm saying? So it do be pretty interesting when somebody, like on SoundCloud, you look at your numbers or whatever, if the person is logged in listening to SoundCloud, like you can see the username, whoever listens the most, whatever. Like it was somebody from high school or from elementary school that I ain't talked to, I don't know, 15 years, but you listen to every single episode. Never hit a like, a post.
Yeah.
And that's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Like literally thanks. You know what I'm saying? So
you guys have been able to like I said, you guys, like a lot of podcasts in the Detroit area, they record out of your studios.
Yeah.
Like how many different podcasts you guys have come
over
through
80
here?
over
80 different podcasts
so far. 85 different podcasts recorded out of here.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Now, have you guys considered at any point like maybe consolidating and like maybe creating like a podcast network at all?
Yeah. But we kick around a lot of ideas with a network. we want to have something more to offer.
Yeah.
You know, because it's got to make sense for everybody. Like, we don't want to have a network just for the purposes of saying, like, we got one.
We teamed up with such and such, but like,
you know, because the podcasts that come through here, I mean, yeah, we got some that we probably rock with more than others just because they've had us on, but like, it's not a competition this way, and I don't want somebody to feel like they're being left out of something when it's not we don't know what more we can offer you at this point to make it beneficial for everybody. Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, trying to make it beneficial, and I'm all about ownership and people having their own intellectual property. So like once somebody records an episode, like here's the file, you know what I'm saying? You get it, you can upload it to wherever you want it to. Like we used to record in the studio where like they were keeping it uploaded to their own stuff, and then we had to go like download it from the internet or whatever. Like I just want people to be able to have their stuff. Yeah. And it just like why would you be locked down per se? To me, I want to be able to offer you something other than just an affiliation. Yeah. But we got 2020 and got some good things in mind. So that's coming together.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. So like I said, man, I've been listening to these guys for a while. I think y'all should really get into them. Shoptalk Podcast, man, real talk. But we're gonna get into some news and some stories, man. We got a lot of shit to get into before we got to get up out of here. But first things first, man. I've been telling y'all that I'm gonna really try to keep y'all on the up and up. Y'all gotta get your ass out to vote come 2020, November 2020. Get your ass out and vote. Now I know a lot of y'all are like, yo, man, I'm not registered. I don't know how to go register. I don't know where to go register. They make an app for that shit now. You know what I'm saying? They make an app. As a matter of fact, there's an app called VoterPal. And it says, like, if you feel intimidated about the thought of voting, download VoterPal. The app is designed to make every step of the process as clear and simple as possible. Start by opening the app and scanning your state ID. From there, VoterPal auto-populates your form with the relevant information so that you don't have to. All the while, it's taking your state's voter rules into account. And if any details are missing, the app makes it easy to input them by hand in less than a few minutes. So we really don't have no excuses, man. We really don't have no excuses to not be out here registered, to not take our asses out here to vote. They trying to take your vote away from you. They wouldn't be trying to do that if it wasn't important. So 2020, get your ass out to vote if you want that orange motherfucker up out of here.
Man, I ain't never heard of that app, but they just made the whole process dummy proof.
Man, it's no excuse. Yeah. No excuse, man. We got to get up out of here, man. We got to get his ass up out of here. But it is time for us to get into the news. Let me pull that up.
I ain't even gonna lie, that music caught me off guard.
Yes, indeed, y'all. The motherfucker did a State of the Union after he got impeached, man. They done cleared his ass from, like, the impeachment or whatever. We knew it was going to happen. We knew they wasn't going to kick his ass out, but what we did not know was that they were just going to say, fuck it. We don't want to hear no witnesses. We don't want no extra documents. Now we just going to go ahead and clear him. And so Trump is out here acting all kinds of fools. As a matter of fact, he started the shit off. Did y'all see the Super Bowl ad that he did? That he put out with the lady he got out with, what's her name? Kim Kardashian? Mm-mm. Okay. He did a Super Bowl ad. It was, as a matter of fact, the ad played in the first quarter of the game. I'm going to go ahead and play the video now. Let's listen to this real quick. It's a 1-minute ad. So thanks to President Trump.
I'm free to hug my family. I'm free to start over. This is the greatest day of my life. My heart is just bursting with gratitude. I want to thank President Donald John Trump. Woo! Thank you.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
All right, so that was Alice Marie Johnson. She was a woman that he did clemency with for Kim Kardashian. Yep. And truthfully speaking, like, if I were Alice Marie Johnson,
I would thank them.
Donald Trump got my ass out of jail, my ass would be like, man, I mean, I know y'all don't like this motherfucker.
I would say thank you.
Like, hey, good looking motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But the other aspect of that too is like, yeah, Donald Trump is now using me to, like, shame black folks into maybe, hey man, y'all need to come fuck with me because I did this for your girl.
I mean, look, business, a lot of shady deals go on in a lot of rooms that we don't know shit about. Like, you did me a solid. Like, I'm gonna use you for this one. Like,
and there's no.
It is what it is.
There's no permanent friends or enemies in business or war.
Well, there's that, and then I think it also kind of goes into a bit of. Sometimes a little bit of laziness and not really checking up on what's actually happening.
Yeah.
So he would play an ad. He would play an ad in the Super Bowl, touting the fact that he's got criminal justice reform and he's releasing this woman. But then you find out, if you do a little reading, that the federal government is now doubling the amount of money that they're putting in the private prisons. So we got this story here. This comes from Newsweek.com. It says under the Trump administration, the U.S. has more than doubled its spending on services from one of the biggest private prison companies in the world, with the majority of that spending going towards the detention of immigrants across the country. In the first 11 months of fiscal year 2019 alone, the U.S. has seen more than $595 million in obligated spending dedicated to the GEO Group, a Florida-based for-profit correctional institutional company operating prisons around the world, according to the U.S. government's federal spending website. The total is more than double the nearly $260 million that the U.S. government obligated to the GEO Group under Barack Obama administration in 2014. 5 years ago, the amount dedicated to the private prison company seeing a sharp spike in President Trump's first year in office, 2017, and steadily increasing the following 2 years. So, I mean, we got to pay attention. More than anything else, we just got to pay attention.
I know it's going to sound wild, but why you don't like Mexicans so much? Like, what they do?
I don't think Donald Trump doesn't like Mexicans. I think that Trump's base doesn't like Mexicans.
Like, why though? Like, we came over here and, like, nigga, Texas used to be theirs. Like, we came over here and took their shit.
I mean,
because it's just racist. He gives racist. He makes them more comfortable to speak out. Like, he's their safe space.
I get it, but like, when
I don't know what Mexicans inherently have done to any.
Right, like, what's the fake stereotype that, like, oh, if the Mexicans get here, they're going to do.
Here's where it comes
clean sheet. That's probably sound like, you know what I'm saying. Like,
here's where it comes into play. This country is kind of having a racial makeup changeover. In 2043, this country is projected to be no longer majority white. So if you got a perceived threat in Mexicans, brown people coming over here, you got black people coming over here, you got Asian folks coming over here, and white people are feeling as though they're under assault because, like, hey man, like,
we're not going to be the majority.
Pretty soon, we ain't going to be the majority, and we're not going to have as much political power as
pray to God he let me see that day.
Oh, man.
Because that's what
just spare me that long.
That's
Lord.
what I'm trying to get to.
That's what it's getting to.
Like, you don't want Mexicans over there because once you outnumbered by Mexicans, and then you add our constant 13% black folks in there, like, now you got two motherfuckers who don't like you, and y'all going to be really fucked up. And I put that 13% in air quotes.
Yeah, it's been stagnant for a while.
My 38 in a couple months, years of life, it ain't never changed. Yeah, we got zero population growth. Like, anyway,
and not only that, like, there's this idea that for white folks, the idea is if we're in the minority, they gonna do us the same way we've been doing them.
Facts.
You goddamn right.
That's the fear.
That's
the fear.
Farrakhan addressed that back in '93 on Phil Donahue.
He did,
and he was like, "Listen, we don't got a history of hurting white folks. Y'all got the history of hurting us. Leave us alone, goddamn it!" Like,
but that's their biggest fear of being in the minority, and if they're in the minority, they gonna get this. They're like, oh man, it's time to pay the piper on this one because we've been out here acting a goddamn fool.
But what's so wrong about that? Like, what's so wrong about that?
I mean, if you've been on the boss end of it for the better part of 200 years,
it ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. Like,
exactly, exactly.
So peep. So devil's advocate. Well, not even devil's advocate. Sometimes I don't be mad. Don't hate me, but I don't be mad at the devil for acting like a devil sometimes, right? Because, like, say if you're quote unquote, if you didn't do this to these people, us, and your ancestors did all this shit, and black folks is really mad at y'all, and we kind of feel that if y'all get power, then y'all gonna fuck us up, and I didn't quote unquote do it to you. That's why they be so okay with the subtle racism and shit. That's the shit that they didn't actually do. You be okay because I just want to know. I just want to keep my power. I'm not gonna overtly do nothing to you, but when I see that shit and I see the police treatment of y'all and everything, I'm not gonna say nothing because ultimately it kind of helped me stay in power and shit. But it's a silent agreement.
And the other part about that is that, like, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So if you stand by to the side while some racist shit going on, even though you might not necessarily be racist, as a person receiving the shit, I'm like, hey, so you with these motherfuckers.
Facts.
So when I do get in a position, I'm like, hey, he was with them. Fuck him.
And then I see you with them and I attack you, and now you don't like right. me and my kind, and now you are that.
But you already chose a side.
It's that self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
You chose your side. You know, you already showed me your hand, so I got to protect myself.
You did. So, yeah, man, that's going on. Did you guys watch the State of the Union at all?
No, I can't say that I did.
Yeah, I punished myself, man. I'm a glutton for punishment this week. But I did watch that. Trump did this thing where he started pulling out random black folks, giving them trinkets and shit, right? So there was a Tuskegee Airman who he honored at the State of the Union. He gave him a rank upgrade. I think he made him a brigadier general. Now this Tuskegee Airman is 100 years old. It's not like he's out here active duty about to go do nothing. Nice gesture. And he had his grandson there. His grandson wants to be in the Space Force. He wants to go to the Space Force. Like, there's some brand new shit that Donald Trump then created, the Space Force shit, right?
Which is the exact same logo of Star Trek.
It is.
Like, this shit not real, fam.
Starfleet Academy like a motherfucker.
Ain't no Space Wars going on. I don't give a fuck what nobody tell you. That shit ain't real, okay?
I thought
let's just stop this right now.
Is it my ignorance to think that, like, NASA kind of covered that little, your little space odyssey shit?
And NASA not even like a part of the government. Them niggas a regular company and shit.
Like not only that, the Air Force, a lot of the shit when you start talking about like space exploration and everything, like even if you start talking about the astronauts, most of them came through the Air Force. They were pilots in the Air Force. So you did like the creation of a Space Force is a totally redundant fucking thing. I think the only reason he even went through with it is because he's like, I said I did it and I did it. You know, and it's a lot of stupid motherfuckers like, yeah, he said he did it. It's a promise he made. It's a promise he kept. You know, that kind of bullshit.
But so, what do they do all day? Like, what them niggas talk about?
We don't know because they just started. Like, the shit just started last month.
Listen, dog. Project Bluebeam. We're going to get attacked by some sort of alien shit, and that's going to bring everybody together. Some shit they going to make up, throw some fucking holograms in the sky and shit, and, we got to rally around because the Space Force is going. Like, nigga, I seen this shit.
I done watched this movie on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Like, come on, man.
This sound like a Jack Ryan plot, bro.
Like, and then we gonna watch this shit on television. Like, man, the aliens was gonna come down there to fuck us up, so we gotta stand by them.
Right.
Like, I seen this shit in 2001.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I seen this before. I seen this play out. I'm straight.
It's crazy, man. Now you got this dude, 100-year-old guy, Tuskegee Airman. You upgrade him to brigadier general in the Air Force. Then you have Rush Limbaugh at the State of the Union. Rush Limbaugh, who most of us already know is a racist sack of shit. Like, you can kind of go back and look through the history of all the crazy shit that Rush Limbaugh done said. Like, one of the things that does just kind of jump out at me is like when the ESPN hired him as a analyst for I think it was their Sunday football show, and he came right out and was like, yo, the only reason they like Donovan McNabb is in the league is because they want to prove that a black quarterback can be successful. He gave that motherfucker the Medal of Freedom, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Now, that's the highest honor that you can give like United States citizen.
So, listen, I'm indifferent about this one.
Okay.
I'm not a fan of Rush Limbaugh, the person.
Okay.
He's a great media personality, though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't hate. You know,
I hear you.
If that was your brand of,
I hear you.
If that was your brand of
like
content,
he the best at it.
Like and the gold the gold microphone he has is fucking amazing. By the way, I don't know if y'all seen that shit before, but it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
I don't like his speech.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like his rhetoric. I don't like what he stands for. But we do got the freedom of speech.
We do.
Right, and like I think he does promote freedom of speech because I don't like what you're saying, but I can't take the right away from you to say it. You know what I'm saying? Because I know we say some wild shit that a lot of people would not agree with, and if given the wrong context, if you put that shit or write that shit on a piece of paper and say it out loud on a Monday morning, I can't explain some of the shit I said. But like to us and our folks, like we get it. Now for So freedom, Rosa Parks got the award. Like I don't really see the when I put Rosa Parks up and when I see they do the exact opposite thing.
Yeah.
So I just don't know.
It's like the prestige of the award kind of dropped when, like, to a certain segment, like to a population like us. I think the prestige of the award kind of drops when you give it to a guy like that, considering some of the rhetoric that he's put out over the course of the years. Now, yes, he's successful. He's got a large audience, like 30 million motherfuckers listen to this guy every day. He had just been diagnosed, or he had just announced that he's got late stage lung cancer.
Yeah, that's how it works sometimes.
I mean, I couldn't act like I was mad about it. You know what I'm saying? But
man, the Lord giveth and taketh away on both sides.
Couldn't act like I was mad about it, but I did. I was just trying to make it make sense. Like, and you saw it online, man. Folks was like, "Yo, man, you had a Tuskegee Airman here, dude, and you get a Medal of Freedom to this motherfucker." Like, and there's that whole thing, that give and that take, where it's like, "Yo, black people, I got one for you."
I don't want no medal that the America is gonna give me. By the way, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't trust you as an organization. Your history is so vile that you giving me, even if I'm Rosa, I know what I did and I was fighting against y'all. And now you gonna give me? I don't even want it. So the Tuskegee dude, now he signed up for the Army, so he probably got a different type of allegiance.
Oh yeah,
I'm not even showing up. Like fuck your award. I'm 100. I really don't give a fuck. Like I might not make it next week. But I don't want your award.
Yeah.
And those awards don't got no kind of prestige to me because I don't respect the awards. I respect the person.
Right.
Who and the things that they did, and I'll give them their respect to do, but I don't have no kind of appreciation for the award itself because of the organization it's coming from.
But you can't turn down that invite.
And the person who's putting it around my neck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not about to go up there and let Trump put some shit around my neck.
You can't turn down that invite.
I don't know if you could.
You can't.
Listen,
they gonna drag your ass down to Washington.
Listen, if
I
Trump,
can do what I damn well please.
If Trump was offering that shit to me, I'm like, come on, bro. You know I don't even fuck with you like that. You done heard the show. And I know your people done heard the show.
Look,
it's some other shit going on here.
But just know this: when you go to sleep that night, you might be in your bedroom. When you wake up, you're going to be in a suit and tie in Washington, D.C. with a full face of makeup. And they going to be telling you what the fuck you about to say.
I don't respect the award. I won't say I won't respect the award. I feel nothing about the award itself because of who it's coming from and like what it represents.
Yeah, I just think that, like, for a lot of folks, man, just considering, like, everything that's going on, like, you look at something like that where, like, damn, okay, where on one hand you're saying, like, yo, I did all these things for the blacks, and then you look up and you're honoring a racist, you know, like, and then you act surprised when black people don't fuck with you. Like,
what's the definition of that award?
What, the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
Yeah, like the freedom portion. I don't get it.
It's just like the name. I guess that's just the name of it, but it's supposed to be the highest civilian award in the country. Like, that's the highest shit you can get as a civilian. So, and the president gives it to you. I know Barack Obama gave it to Joe Biden, like right before they got
I really don't want that shit, dog. I really don't want that shit. That's some weird. I don't want nothing. That
award got real
Joe
weird.
Biden got around his neck. I'm straight.
It got kind of weird real quick.
He don't fuck with the Bidens, man. He don't fuck with the Bidens. So, yo, man,
Joe out of touch. Like, people, they trying to push him like he cool. Joe the fuck out of touch, and Joe a dirtbag.
He touched a lot.
Listen, Joe is old, but I think what a lot of people are missing is that, like, there's a lot of older black people who fuck with Joe, and that's the reason why Joe is even considered viable as a candidate right now, because there's a whole bunch of young people. A lot of the young folks are more gravitating towards Bernie Sanders.
He ain't the one neither.
I'm fuck with Yang. I'm a Yang gang.
Okay.
I like Andrew Yang.
I was a Kamala person until she got kicked out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to work my shit out as to who I might, you know.
I would say look into Andrew Yang. I like him.
And there's some things I like about Andrew Yang, and then there's others where I'm just like, you know, just my politics. I'm just like, I don't know.
I'll be honest, I ain't impartial with none of these niggas right now. Like, ain't nobody standing out like
right
I can
now.
Ride with it.
The current crop is looking kind of.
I just got to see how the smoke settle on this thing, because I ain't excited about nobody right now.
I wasn't opposed to Kamala Harris either. I didn't like the negative feedback she just got off rip.
Yeah,
I thought that was kind of unfair.
And
for us,
it was coordinated.
To us to do that to her. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was kind of whack.
Yeah, it was definitely coordinated, but you know,
she might end up with somebody running mate though. So
she might, you know what? Real talk though, sometimes it really isn't a loss in not her having been president or whatever. Sometimes, she could be a damn good, effective senator for her state. And then, like, say for instance, how she would, if you saw some of the the impeachment interrogation and shit, like Kamala Harris was on their ass. Some of the most effective questioning was coming from Kamala Harris. So sometimes you being in your spot might be good.
Supreme Court maybe one day. Like maybe you never know how to shake a shake.
But that
would be amazing though.
That's why I was so upset, because 1 week it's everybody retweeting the clips when she's on DeVos head or she on Trump head doing the hearings or whatever. Then the next week, she said she smoke weed and listen to Tupac or something. It's like, what? Like, what are y'all talking about? Like,
social media waves.
Yeah.
Social media waves, and we're going to get into a little bit later, but like social media waves is weird, like just kind of sitting back and watching it. Like just sitting back and watching it take place.
But when you talk about something like that, like about the Tupac and her smoking weed, like we let somebody that was literally on TV a few years ago just like decide he gonna be president, and y'all giving her a hard time about like. Well,
no, they didn't like her timeline. They didn't understand her timeline or some shit. So they were like, "Oh, she lying, or she's trying to be black too much." Y'all made quote unquote Bill. I hate this shit. Y'all made Bill Clinton quote unquote black because he cheated and smoked weed and played a fucking saxophone. Like, y'all got the three giant stereotypes attached to a white man and said, he the first black president. Yeah. That's not funny to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't like that type of shit.
Bill responsible for a lot of y'all uncles and cousins and older brothers being in jail.
Wrote the fucking bill.
I'm saying.
But therein too, right? Therein too lies the issue with, like, sometimes we'll forget the history as to how some of that shit came to be. Because even in '94, when that crime bill came down, if you remember what it was like in Detroit, and I'm from Detroit and Chicago. If you remember what it was like in both of these cities back in '94,
begging for that shit.
Motherfuckers was begging for them to do something. So when you're old enough to see how that came to be, and then you find out who also was on there, like Bernie Sanders was signing off on that. Like, they give Hillary Clinton a lot of shit for saying super predators, but like Hillary Clinton was the first lady. She ain't had no power to do nothing about that.
I didn't like that super predator shit.
But
not her statement, but like, y'all took that shit out of context.
They did. But Bernie Sanders was able to like kind of cook for a long time, and Bernie Sanders signed off on that law. Bernie Sanders voted for it. So there's a lot of nuance that gets lost because we're looking for the viral moment. We're looking for like the most retweets, the most likes, and all that other shit, and we forget that like there's a lot of nuance in there. It's not always just the black and white.
And the fact that for whatever reason, how we pass our bills and everything, so I can be like, look, man, we gonna sign this bill. It got some research dollar that says once we do this, we're gonna have a cure for cancer in 48 hours. Also, it's gonna kill all black people in America. So which one you gonna sign? If you sign like, I'm not gonna sign the one that says all kill black people in America, they're like, fam, we put up a bill that was gonna cure cancer and you didn't sign it.
Right.
Like, cause y'all always sandwich something really good with something really fucked up.
Right.
So it's like, you signed this bill that says such and such with black people, like, but it also gave your grandma the whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have a way to separate real fucked up shit from really good things in a bill. They just pack everything together and say, take it all elite, take it all or nothing. Like, fam, this is 2020. Like, we can make intelligent decisions to say, this is a bad idea. How about you separate these? I'm good with this one, but not that. But that's not how the game works.
Yeah, it's always some bullshit. It's always something like everybody, like every representative, every senator, they're trying to pack in whatever little pet project they got into something else. You might not even be aware of it. Yep. You don't even know what they voting for or whatever, but it's in there. And then you find out later, 20 years later, you be like, oh shit, well hold up, man, your name on that too, man. You sponsored that, you know? So yeah, man, but that has been the news, y'all. But y'all know what time it is.
What in blue blazes is going on out here?
Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
Yo, it's Blue Blazes time here at the Spann Report Podcast, man. And our first story here in Blue Blazes is, your girl Erykah Badu out here wilding. She out here wilding, y'all. She got some goddamn perfume that smell like her pussy.
God damn!
Yeah, man. Gonna start calling that shit Badissy, goddamn it. So we gonna read this story here. Let me pull it. Let me read this story here, man. Here we go. It says, sometimes products that appear to be strange or bizarre initially shock the world when they become huge commercial success. Take, for instance, the Pet Rock, which made millions of willing consumers, millions of willing consumers in the 1980s. Earlier this year, strange product pandemonium struck again when the actress Gwyneth Paltrow released a $75 candle online that smells like her vagina. Most of the internet reacted to the promotion of this product the way that you would expect people to react to the idea of a candle that smells like a vagina, but despite all of the hate online, the candle sold out, and it sold out rapidly. Now neo-soul icon Erykah Badu is taking a page out of Gwyneth Paltrow's book. She's joining the vagina-scented products bandwagon with a fragrance that supposedly smells like her vagina. The news came in an interview with 10 magazine about the launch of her online store Badu World Market, which opens February 20th. When asked how the scent was made, Badu said, "I took lots of pairs in my panties, cut them into little pieces and burned them, even the ash part of it." She even has a name for the product. It will be called Badu's Pussy. So, Valentine's Day is coming up, fellas.
I would like some.
I'm not saying
I would like some.
I'm not saying I'm gonna buy it, but I'm gonna go to Macy's and hopefully one of them ladies in the line spray that shit on me because I want to see what that shit smell like. What that thing smell like? I'm curious. I may not buy it. Like it's a strong possibility. I'm not gonna buy it.
Some shit you just trust, sight unseen. I don't care. I would when they start selling it. I want some.
All I know is
sign me up.
Some of the greatest rappers of all time have smelled just like that, and I want to be one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Now, that's the other part, right? So, like, once you smell like that, are you gonna start dressing like that too?
Look, I'll take the good with the bad.
You gonna be out at 7 Mile with a goddamn what was that, feather pants and the
you don't know my life.
Pads.
You don't know my life. I don't care. You don't know my life. Hey. I don't have nothing to prove.
I think Jay Leck.
You don't know my life.
I think Jay Leck was the last one, the last child with her. So he didn't switch his clothes. So I'm good.
He did.
I'm good.
He kind of switched it up.
Well, he married a Rothschild. So I mean, he would have walked a Rothschild.
Okay.
So he switched up.
I can't wait for that album to drop.
It's never. Come on, whatever.
I'm kind of curious as to what that packaging gonna look like.
It's never coming out. It's gonna be clear.
No, not the J Electronic. I'm talking about.
It's never coming out.
But that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, it's gonna be wrapped in an unk.
Oh, I hope it's wrapped in a pair of her panties. I pay extra for that.
Oh man,
I bet you it's gonna have an unk on there. That's the type of shit she be on.
I don't care what is. Nigga, that shit could be in a Kroger bag.
I hope it costs $3.06.
God damn, man. So yeah, that's in Blue Blazes, man. Another story that we got here.
You want to smell it at all?
I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, like just like you, I'd probably go to Macy's. Hey man, just kind of spray that shit in the air real quick. I don't know if my wife wants it. You know what I'm saying?
Like how you think your wife would take if you was like, hey, I want you to smell
that ain't a conversation that's gonna end well. I really don't think my wife. She's like, hold on, nigga, what you trying to say?
It's probably smelled like something you ain't never smelled before in your life.
I just thought about it.
It'll linger with you all day.
I just thought about it. I think all the men need to buy it. I think every man needs to buy this shit.
Expound.
And if one night you come in, just be like, no, baby, that's just the Erykah Badu that had on me. Because you might smell like another woman. And like, no, my bad, I had this in I got this for you. And I wanted to see what it, you know what I'm saying? I just sprayed a little bit to see how it was going for you. Yeah, that's going to get you out of a tough situation.
Man. You about to cause a whole lot of unhappy homes, man. Real talk.
What was that movie, The Weatherman, I think, that had Will Ferrell and he had that Sex Panther? You know what I'm saying? Like the walls open. Like that's probably what that shit going to feel like when you spray it on. You know what I'm saying? It'll clear out. As soon as you walk into a room, they're going to know you. They going to know you smell like Badussy. Grade 8-0.
Spray that shit like, sisters, how y'all feel?
I know, right? But that's in Blue Blazes, man. Now, the other story that's Super Bowl related. Yeah. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl at all this week?
I'll be honest, I didn't dedicate a lot of time to the Super Bowl. Like it was on in the house.
Yeah.
If I was sitting in my room for a few minutes, I may watch a series, watch some of it here and there, but I wasn't really invested in it myself.
Did you catch the halftime show?
I caught some of it.
I caught the majority of the halftime show. I gave up football 3 years ago.
Okay.
But I did go to a Super Bowl party, so I was there, and I watched most of the fourth quarter, and it was on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I watched some pieces of it though.
Okay, so there's some other people who call themselves giving up the football. The other side of the Kaepernick discussion. A lot of them folks had given up football, came back this year.
I bet.
And this one guy, Christian activist, he's actually on the verge of trying to sue the NFL because he says the NFL, because of the halftime show, threatened his immortal soul. So we're going to read this story here. This comes out of, what is this shit? This is rawstory.com. It says the halftime show of this year's Super Bowl featuring Shakira and Jennifer Lopez dancing in daring outfits on stage drew fury from right-wing Christians as two middle-aged women of color showing skin is apparently more shameful to them than the President of the United States bragging about...
What color? Beige? Two beige bitches? Nah.
Oh, man, bragging about assaulting women. But according to Right Wing Watch, one Christian activist, Dave Dubenmeyer, is taking things even further. On his Past Assault podcast, Dubenmeyer said that he plans to sue the NFL because the halftime show threatens to prevent him from getting into the kingdom of heaven. Raw Story is now... Okay, fuck all that.
I'm going to sue you for some shit that don't exist.
He
gonna sue them
because he made his dick hard.
Oh, man.
Now, I mean, let's just keep it a buck, man. J-Lo, 50 years old, look damn good up there.
Facts.
Shakira, 43 years old, look damn good up there.
100%.
They was out there rocking that whole damn show.
Their reputation precedes them.
Yes. And so you got a whole lot of these dudes, man, who ain't used to seeing a woman of agency, power, of means, being able to express herself any sort of way she really wants to. That man is upset because she made him feel good and he wasn't really supposed to.
You know what's so funny? At the party I was at, my homeboy, his dad's friends from the church was over there.
Yeah. And
one of them made a comment about, they up there gyrating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was visibly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm like what world? I guess I'm in a heathen world, but
yeah.
I don't never want to be that out of touch with shit. Is that wrong to say? I don't want to be that. And I know that you can just sue anybody for anything, but it's come on, dog. Number one is I don't know what you're looking to get out of this. Secondly, the NFL probably has a building this big full of lawyers,
right.
not doing just looking over documents.
Yeah, it's getting thrown out.
Yeah, why are you just wasting your time? Does your church need some money? Put up a GoFundMe or something.
Whatever lawyer who takes that case and takes that man's money,
he wears a baggy suit to court.
He should get fined. Fam, you not about to, because you heard some imaginary shit that I can't prove exists.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
Not only that, though, I think sometimes, man, a lot of Christians, sometimes, I'm not talking about all y'all, but sometimes y'all make it easy for people to make fun of y'all. Just make it easy for people to I was at the Monique show a couple weeks ago.
The comedian?
Yeah.
She had a show here?
Yeah, she had a show at the Motor City Soundboard.
She told jokes?
She told jokes.
Oh.
Was it good?
It was good.
Okay. You laughed?
I laughed.
Oh.
Not only that, my friend opened for her.
Okay.
So I was there really to support my friend. But
that's how you found out about it.
That's how I found out about it.
Because I didn't hear nothing about it.
Nigga, I'm flabbergasted.
Hold on. But it was packed in that bitch.
Was it?
It was packed, man.
Black people?
Black people. I'm going to tell you, man, Monique's audience ain't necessarily us.
Clearly.
Monique's audience is older black people, mostly older black women.
I bet.
Mostly older black women. Now, there were some kind of Christianly folks up near the front of the show.
Because the church got tickets together.
Probably. But Monique telling dick sucking jokes. You know what I'm saying? And the church folks are visibly upset, right? But you in the front of a comedy show of Monique. Did y'all not do y'all Googles on who Monique was and the type of shit that she talks about?
Was this Netflix worthy?
That's too long of an answer.
I wouldn't say it was Netflix worthy, but she did just have a show on Showtime that I checked out. Y'all should check it out. It's pretty good.
It was an hour long?
Yeah.
And it was how many comics?
Monique was hosting. It was 5 other comics.
Okay, so she wasn't. Okay, she wasn't the main attraction.
No, she wasn't the. Well, I mean, if you think about it, most folks don't know who those other comics are outside of Donnell Rawlins, right? Donnell Rawlins was on there.
Donnell Rawlins is one of the best comedians in the country.
Yeah, Donnell Rawlins, I think he kind of he closed the show for that one. But she opened it up. She introduced everybody and basically was like, yo, try to introduce people to some of the up-and-coming comics that you know.
She's trying to gain good favor.
I mean, like I said, I got a chance to meet her at the end of the show.
Okay.
Monique seemed like a pretty sincere sister. I know folks don't necessarily agree with her on a lot of shit. I don't agree with her on a lot of shit, but
she
at the same
like her
time,
breath stank.
It didn't though.
Okay.
It didn't though, man. It didn't though, man. Monique was real cool people. I appreciate.
Was her husband with her?
I didn't see him, and as a matter of fact, Mary Wilson was there behind, backstage too or whatnot. So she kind of cut some of that short so she could kind of talk with Mary Wilson. But I got the impression of Monique that she's a sincere sister, but like a lot of shit that she talking about, people ain't really rocking with right now. But interestingly enough, Monique got problems with Oprah and Gayle King.
Yeah, I remember. Monique had some problems years ago with like when Oprah had her brother and her parents on the show.
Yeah.
Kind of ambushed her with that shit. I remember that.
She got some beef with them, and like she was one of the first few people to come out to say like she didn't really like how Oprah, moves or whatever else. Folks wasn't really fucking with her then. You know what I'm saying? People was like, girl, you tripping. Oprah do this, that, everything. Now, we at a time now where like people are really at like Oprah Winfrey's and Gayle King's neck because of the Me Too movement and the sexual allegations that are coming up about not only just like Bill Cosby, Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, Russell Simmons, all these folks. Like they're coming, people feel as though there's an attack on black men, right?
Yeah.
And so, we coming up on like 2 weeks since the passing of Kobe Bryant. A lot of folks still grieving.
Man,
the loss
terrible
of
tragedy. Doesn't even feel real some days.
It didn't.
I mean, and it may sound like naive to say, I just feel like, somewhere he out there and like he just going to emerge.
Yeah.
This is going to add to the legend. But like it feel like he left us too soon, but he gave us so much.
Yeah.
Like, when that's one, we can't avoid death. None of us. And it's just a part of life. We never know when that button going to get pushed, but I just feel like we watched Kobe's entire life right before our eyes. Like we grew up with him, and now it felt like he owed us more, but God needed him more than we needed him.
Yeah. And you know what, like they were talking about, I think I talked about this on the show last week where, we were like on social media, the talk was like no one had really seen so many black men express their grief, so openly and so visually in front of everybody. Like it was a collective grieving moment, and we hadn't seen it like that in like probably ever.
Right.
And I think we've had those moments. It just wasn't one of those things where you got a chance to see it all the time. So like you talk about when Tupac passed away, everybody was kind of hurt by that. We didn't have social media with which everybody can kind of get into it and express it and put their feelings out.
We didn't have that access.
We didn't have it that way. Much the same, like I want to say, when Biggie died. I remember when Biggie died, I was going to Cooley when Biggie passed. And I remember JLB sending like grief counselors to the high schools. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They was pulling us out of class and just having like some of the personalities from JLB to talk to us about, hip hop and, the way it was moving and everything else, like grief counselors in the whole nine.
I was messed up with Pac passing.
Yeah. 9th
grade, was in the lunchroom. Matter of fact, when Pac passed and when Easy passed, I found out that in high school, in school, when one of my uncles came in the house and told us, it was a Sunday night, he told us, I'm like,
yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah, and so the thing is, we've had these moments, but we never had it where everybody is grieving together, right? And you got social media that kind of brought everybody together, and so with this whole Kobe thing, there's a story about like there's a talk about his life, right? And what's appropriate to talk about with Kobe's life. So Gayle King did an interview with Lisa Leslie. I think it was a 3-minute clip that was sent out on social media, but there was a much larger clip that didn't get that wasn't like it had already played, but folks hadn't watched it. So CBS has sent out this smaller clip, and she was asking Lisa Leslie about Kobe's rape allegation from 2003. So I'm going to play a little bit of that clip here in a second. Supposed to have been there already.
When he signed in the WNBA.
It's been said that his legacy is complicated because of the sexual assault charge, which was dismissed in 2003, 2004. Is it complicated for you as a woman, as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. Even if there's a few times that we've been at a club at the same time. Kobe's not the kind of guy, never been like, you know, Lisa, go get that girl or tell her or send her this. I have other NBA friends that are like that. Kobe's, he was never like that. I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. I just don't believe that. And I'm not saying things didn't happen. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force.
Is it even a fair question to talk about it, considering he's no longer with us and that it was resolved? Or is it really part of his history?
I think that the media should be more respectful. At this time, it's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that's how we should leave it.
It is interesting to me.
All right.
Jersey on display in.
Did you guys hear that before?
Absolutely.
What was your thoughts when you first heard it?
I got a few different things real quick. Number one, I don't understand the relevance of speaking with Lisa Leslie. Okay. I was we talked about this on our show, and I was confused. It's like she had a book or something coming out. Like, she just seems like a really random subject to ask these type of questions to, just in my opinion. I get the friendship there with Kobe. I just don't understand personally how it makes sense right now. Second thing is, Gayle just kept pushing that shit and kept pushing it. And Lisa Leslie stayed a consummate professional through this whole thing and said something very poignant. Like, this just didn't happen the day before yesterday. This happened years ago.
Right.
You've had at least 15 years to sit him down and ask these questions if you want to be so brazen and brave.
And half.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was ample opportunity. She's right. Like, don't tarnish this man's legacy now. Don't try and, roll him over now. Like, we've all done things in our past. Now, like you said, it went to trial. Like, he was acquitted. The charges were dropped. Like,
and I didn't like how, in this particular situation, I understand that as a journalist, is your position to ask questions and to find out information, but you're supposed to stay impartial. In this line of questioning, they kind of implied guilt. Okay. Specifically when she said, well, it went to trial, she was like, well, the victim didn't testify. Well, you can't be a victim unless a crime occurred. You know what I'm saying? She could have said the accuser didn't testify, but you label her as a victim. And then he said, and the only reason that it was acquitted, like, well, it was acquitted. It's like, well, the only reason was because that happened. Also, when he said, well, that's just not the person I know, but you wouldn't see it. Would you see it? Being his friend? Like, you questioning the fact that I know him as a person. If I know him more intimately than you do, I would know. I can see, if you know your friends, right? You know when they're going through something. You know when they putting up a front or a fake. I would. So I thought that her line of questioning kind of implied guilt.
Okay.
And I don't think that's fair that it implied guilt when I was not. I've always maintained my innocence.
Right.
That this is not what happened. And even though the situation was dropped, I got on television and I apologized to that girl anyway.
Yeah, and I kind of want to speak to that apology he put out too,
because like,
I think it's very important.
What I thought we had was a consensual act, and for whatever reason, you didn't feel that way and you felt hurt by that. I'm not admitting no guilt because I don't think we don't have recall the same events. But I'm sorry that you felt that way,
right? Because
of something that we entered in together,
right?
And then since that moment, I've done nothing but change my behavior with the way I carried on my wife, my daughters, my love for sports, the way I uphold. Like, look at my behavior.
Right.
The best thing that you can ask for somebody is change behavior.
Right.
And I maintain my innocence. You look at me before, during, and after. I've given you I can't find Kobe being mean or rude to somebody online.
Right.
I can't find, like, and people would love to bring that shit out because trolls do that.
Yeah.
You can't find it. And I got 21 years or so of interviews and stuff. It's just not there.
Right.
This is the one thing. And in this one thing, I didn't even do that shit. If you want to talk about why she didn't testify, because the day that she went to do her examination, there was 8 other DNAs there. Like, you didn't testify because this wasn't going to go nowhere. And it's not fair that you don't bring that portion of the context in the conversation after a man can't defend himself.
Right.
I didn't like that.
Right. So I get all of that, and I agree with damn near all of what you said. Right. I'm one of the few who didn't necessarily have an issue with the line of questioning that Gayle King rose. One of the things I think.
Why is that?
Well, here's the thing. I think that I know that people are grieving, and I know that people are kind of hurt right now. The interview itself seemed to me as though it was a retrospective on his life, like who he was as a person. Like Leslie's memories of him, right?
Okay.
And so when you're talking about someone who had a career of about 20 years, and Lisa Leslie was a friend of his from the time he got drafted into the Lakers, and she was there with the LA Sparks. Unfortunately, 2003 did happen. It's as much as we wouldn't necessarily like to highlight it, it's part of his story. And so in asking a friend, does, especially as a woman, like, would that complicate things for you? And Lisa Leslie answered that question quite well. Like, I was impressed with the way that she answered that question. And then when, even the follow-up question about, well, you wouldn't see it though. I think to a large degree, and I'm just going to go off of some of the stuff I see on the news and everything else, we see things happen in the hood quite often. We see people get arrested for shit, and the first thing people that knew that person say is like, I didn't know him to do that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily, just watching that, I didn't necessarily think that was an unfair thing to say, right? And then I didn't see it as an attack because the very next question was, is it fair for the media to bring it up, right? So like, she's asking her, is this even fair for us to keep this line of questioning going? And basically Lisa was like, nah, I think y'all should leave that alone. Like, at this point, I think y'all should leave that alone. And then because that part of the clip is what went viral, and it's separated from the context of the entire
So I watched.
interview.
Yeah, Spann, we watched the whole interview,
Like,
and I don't want to say that's that far out of
It's
context.
like,
No, I'm saying
the one I watched is 5 minutes and 41 seconds.
Yeah.
So it started off with, she walking through her house and showing the stuff
Right.
up there. Like, it didn't add any additional context to it for me. You know what I'm saying? So the question itself, I don't think is the issue. I think the nuanced way that she asked the question is more or less is like, well, I didn't see that as a person. Then the follow-up question would have been, well, what about those who say you would not have said it? It seemed like she was saying it. She like, but no, you, and it wasn't even a question. She told her, no, you wouldn't see that because you're his friend.
Right.
Like, so that seemed like that was coming from me and not the journalist, me asking the question.
Right.
Now, if you ask the question, it's like, so what happens when people would say, maybe you didn't notice because you're a friend? And now that seems like I'm livening you up to do this. That it seemed coming across that, no, this is how you feel.
Okay.
And if this is the way you feel, why? And if you feel that way, why'd you feel the reason to do this? Like, right, the nigga ain't even in the ground yet.
Right.
And like this whole, it's not like you just had Lisa Leslie on the lineup already today. Like, there's only one reason to bring her in to talk, and it's to talk about Kobe. So if you felt this way, why specifically right now did you want to get that across?
Right.
And I think that's the reason that, like, people were so upset. Like, one, when I think of Kobe Bryant, that don't cross my mind at all. I don't even attach that to his legacy. I damn near forgot that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think anybody attached on this side of the coin attaches that to him.
Right.
Now, white folks on the other side of the coin, they look at this situation a whole differently. They look at it like a black man that got away with raping a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
We look at it as a white woman saying some shit about a black athlete again. We look at that shit totally different. So the question is the question. But I just took it as like, why'd you do it though? Like I didn't understand the motivation for it or whatever.
Right.
And if that's how she really, really feel, and that's a valid question for her, cool. You can feel that way. You can think he did it. I don't know that she does, but like that's a valid for you, but people don't have an opinion about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
they got some strong opinions about it. You
put that up for public consumption.
Right.
But right now, this is CBS.
Right.
Everybody got CBS. This is a regular station. Like his wife got CBS.
Mm-hmm.
His children have CBS. Don't float this out there before the man even in the ground. Like,
it's distasteful. You know what I'm saying? Like the biggest thing is like,
it ain't R. Kelly who got like this long history of shit. You know what I'm saying? Some questions you can't avoid, like R. Kelly. Like some people got this long drawn out history, and it's like, nigga, we think you did this shit.
But here's the flip side of that coin too, though, right? Because yes, Kobe Bryant isn't R. Kelly, Lisa Leslie isn't R. Kelly, but the interviewing style was pretty much the same. Like the follow-up questions about what was going on with R. Kelly, the follow-up questions with how she felt about that. Like the interview style was still the same. And a lot of people were like, when she did the R. Kelly interview, people were championing Gayle King, like how she handled herself, how calm she was during that interview, how she handled her composure the whole nine. And it's, to me, seemed like the composure was still there, like the manner in which the interview was happening. That's just how it feels. That's how it feels to me.
If that's the case, then that bothers me though, because I want a different energy from Gayle speaking to R. Kelly. Okay, I do want a different energy. I want that because I watch that shit like, all right, let's get him and pin him to the wall with these questions.
And Spann, on the flip side, like, if you the calm person in a room with somebody yelling and screaming, you always gonna seem like the bigger person.
No,
they
I'm
look
not
crazy.
I'm not saying that, man. I'm saying like it's just weird, like the juxtaposition of like, listen, she's pretty much the same way in every interview. It's just that one of these motherfuckers we like, one of these motherfuckers we don't.
No, one of the people we think is guilty, and other ones we think is innocent.
But there's that too,
because a lot of people still like R. Kelly.
Oh, trust and believe they do.
Like I like the
I'm
music.
From Chicago, they love that nigga.
I like them. I don't listen to it no more. But
Yeah.
I can't say that TP 2000 not fire.
It was.
I just don't listen to it no more.
I don't either.
You know what I'm saying? But like the shit's still fire.
Yeah.
But like I think the nigga guilty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like we just don't think Kobe. Well, I'll speak for myself. Like I just don't think of that.
Yeah.
And I never did.
I hear you. So one of the things that like I think, and this is why I think it's important that we don't shy away from what happened in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons why I think it's important that we don't shy away from that is because of the statement that Kobe put out when that happened, that apology that he put out. I'm gonna read from it because I think this is what separates Kobe from a lot of these other motherfuckers that, you know, are being put out. So he says, first, I want to apologize directly to the young woman involved in this incident. I want to apologize to her for my behavior that night and for the consequences that she suffered in the past year. Although this year has been incredibly difficult for me personally, I can only imagine the pain that she has to endure. I also want to apologize to her parents and family members and to my family and friends and supporters and to the citizens of Eagle, Colorado. I want to make it clear that I do not question the motives of this young woman. No money has been paid to this woman. She has agreed that this statement will not be used against me in the civil case. Although I truly believe this encounter between us was consensual, I recognize that she did not and does not view this incident the same way that I did. After months of review and discovery, listening to her attorney and even her testimony in person, I now understand how she feels that she did not consent to this encounter. I issue this statement today fully aware that while one part of this case ends today, another remains. I understand that the civil case against me will go forward. That part of this case will be decided by and between the parties directly involved in the incident and will no longer be financial or emotional drain on the citizens of the state of Colorado. So I think that statement that Kobe made is what separates him from all these other motherfuckers, right? And so when the conversation comes up, I think when we try to like shut down, you know, the conversation around what happened in 2003, we kind of negate the redemption story of how he was able to rise away, how he was able to come away from that a better dude. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about like you know, the charitable works that he was out here doing privately didn't come out till after he passed away. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like, hey, man, he didn't want me to tell nobody, but, you know, I got to let somebody know, man, Kobe was out here doing this. You know what I'm saying? You think about the advocacy he has for, like, women's basketball and stuff. Now you got a whole bunch of dudes like, man, I ain't watching no goddamn WNBA. Kobe, their favorite player. He out here like, y'all need to be watching this shit.
Sitting courtside, got his baby girl over there. Now he's coaching and got his girl over there like playing ball. So I think that
I respect that apology he gave.
Yeah, that you don't see it.
Because the reason I do is that like listen, I've been looking at all the discovery and everything. I'm not saying you trying to come at me for money. Like you really, your account of the situation, the way that you see it, I can see why you feel that way.
Right.
That don't mean that I think that's what happened.
Right.
But like, because I'm a superstar and your name get leaked, like this is a whole bunch of shit that would have never happened if I was faithful to my wife. Now you in the spotlight. Now your family's in the spotlight. Now you never gonna be the same. And that's probably tough on you on top of what you think happened.
Right.
I apologize that shit happened. I'm making this I don't gotta make this statement.
You don't.
You know what I'm saying?
And you don't see that kind of shit happening today.
But I'm gonna make it anyway. And I apologize for whatever. Again, this ain't no admission of guilt because what we did was what we did.
Right.
But like, people don't give him enough credit for that. They made fun of him when he bought his wife a really big ring.
Yep.
Oh, you bought that ring so she don't leave you. She ain't gonna stay with you soon as the money gone. 20 years later, me and my wife, 4 children. Like, fam, I got married really, really young, being a very famous basketball player, and went through a big scandal, and I made it.
Yep.
Like, that's a respectable option. That's a respectable thing. And if we only talk about him on the court and then bring up the 2003 as if there aren't 10 years of interviews. I mean, my YouTube algorithm is still Kobe. I watched the interview, him talking about it 2 years ago.
Yeah,
you know
it
what I'm
was
saying?
a
Like,
white guy. I forget his name. Ben something.
Yeah. Like, it's not like that no one ever brought this up. Like, fam, we've exhausted it now.
Yeah.
Like, literally, that's 15, 16 years ago. Like, what else you want me to say?
Yeah.
Like, you got it out. That's not my legacy. That's not, like, when he retired 3 years ago, I didn't see this a national campaign. Like, should we really give him his parade all year because of, I didn't see that.
Niggas was giving Kobe after the All-Star break, everybody's trying to see Kobe.
His last year in the league, every freaking team,
tour.
Every team, the last game he was gonna play, and they gave him a farewell tour and gave him, like, y'all didn't, even in Utah.
Yeah.
Utah gave him one
because y'all knew how big this was, and whatever. Look, ain't too many people rebranded their whole life better than Kobe Bryant.
Exactly.
You can say whatever the fuck you may not like him as a person for whatever your personal reasons are. You may not like him as a player, but like he took something fucked up and turned that shit all around where niggas don't even. You got to pull that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, people not touching on it like that.
And what's so crazy, I don't even know if it was a rebrand. He stayed on brand because now every Kobe interview from when he was still 17 in high school talking, like, this nigga has always been well above his years. Mm-hmm. And this nice kid had a fucked up situation. He was a nice kid before, had a fucked up situation, and ended up being a nice man. Like, I got back. I could have rebelled. My people tried to shit on me during this time frame.
There was another time too where I think him and Jamil Hill had a little tiff about Trayvon Martin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he wasn't exactly like right on it with Trayvon Martin, but then he came back and was like, you know what, I was wrong on that, and changed his behavior. And so, like, when I think about what happened in 2003, and when people talk about what happened in 2003, what I'm thinking about is like, yo, that's part of his story, but also, like, look at how far he came from that, because you don't see that type of redemption from dudes who have been accused of sexual assault and everything else. So when people are like, man, you can't talk about that, man, you can't talk, like, wait a minute, but that's part of who he was. Like, that had a key, that was a key development in his life to change the trajectory, right? So, like, you don't know if you get the same Kobe Bryant as a father of 4 daughters, had that situation not happened. You don't know if he's as committed to his wife going forward, had that situation not. Mm-hmm. We don't know. But to shut it down, like to say like you just can't talk about it,
well,
that's where I think I have the issue.
I get it. But they always say, well, he has a complicated past. It's not complicated to me.
Right.
Like, it can be a part of his story,
right.
But everybody was like, well, you know, he has a complicated life. It's not complicated. Stop saying it's complicated. It's pretty cut and dry. Whichever side you stay on it.
So, like, for me and you as men, probably wouldn't be. But the question was aimed towards a woman who, you know, let's keep it a buck. Women have to deal with the idea or the threat of sexual assault a hell of a lot more than we do. So, like, coming from their perspective of it, like, there are some women who feel like, yeah, Kobe was nice. Kobe was a good guy and everything, but there's that thing, too.
So, listen, there was a media personality. I think her name is, like, Ebony Webb.
Yeah.
I watched it this morning, and she was like, we can't have this conversation yet. The reason why people are so upset, like, we can't have this conversation until we want to have the real conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The real conversation is, back in 2003, there were two different Americas. There was the white side who was thought that Kobe Bryant got away with raping a white man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
And parents out there saying, you got to watch out for Kobe's.
Yeah.
Like, in the same vein, you had to watch out for, like, OJ.
Yeah.
And on the black side, this is another thing where a black man was accused of something he didn't do, like Emmett Till.
Right.
And we seen what happened there.
Right.
And even though he went through this whole thing and kept saying he was innocent, we think about when Emmett Till said, I was innocent, and he still got lynched and got murdered and everything. Right. And in 2003, as far as how his media was going, there was no complexity, there was no diversity in media in 2003 for us to have that conversation. Right. There weren't as many black people, black women to even have this kind of conversation. So in 2003, things went down in the media a whole different way. There was no one to say, hey, wait a minute, there's a different side to the story. There's a different way that we can look at it. So now, all these years later, you want to come back and say, hey, he has a complicated past. No, we can't discuss this unless we want to discuss the two different Americas and the two different ways that we actually see this.
Right.
And until we're ready to have that uncomfortable conversation, because it's not complicated, it's just very uncomfortable.
Right.
And she broke that shit down. It gave me chills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She broke it down more eloquently than I can, but I'm like, I can respect that. And then the other white woman that was on the news said, she was like, wow, like, in this 2 minutes, like, I just felt like I learned so much.
Yeah.
And like, I want to, like, this is not a big enough platform for us to have this conversation, but like, I appreciate that. I see that you visibly shook up or whatever, but like, it's a lot of fucking nuance in that situation. And we look at it from our lens, it's like, here again, y'all just gonna get up there and say he got a complicated life and allude to him being a sexual deviant or something, and we don't look at it that way, like, at all.
Right.
And there is a conversation to be had, but it's gonna be a difficult one or uncomfortable one.
Yeah.
Because somebody's feelings is gonna get hurt on both sides.
Right. So how do you guys feel about Snoop's reaction to the interview? Like, do you think like it was appropriate? Did he go across the line? Like,
when did we give entertainers so much acclaim? Like, I love Snoop Dogg for being a rapper, not because I care about the nigga opinion, really.
That's his friend, but
his real life friend,
right? And I think to a large degree, because again, like we talk about like social media and the waves, and that was actually the first part of the Gayle King thing that I even got a whiff of was Snoop's reaction to it. And I'm like, well, damn, what the fuck?
I watched it. I was like, it can't be that bad.
I'm like, what the fuck is he so pissed off about? And I started seeing people like, man, fuck Gayle King, fuck Gayle King. And then you see the comments like, fuck Gayle King. Well, why we fuck Gayle King? Because she's talking shit about Kobe. And then I watched the interview and I'm like, I don't know if I'm as pissed as y'all about this.
It's tough to, it's so quick how a narrative can change. Like, if you just watch the interview without nobody saying nothing, but if you watch the interview saying she was talking shit about Kobe Bryant, now you watching it with a lens to say, oh, this the negative shit. It's so different. But like with Snoop is concerned, like you talked about his friend.
Yeah.
His friend that he think is innocent, and his friend who just passed away and who hasn't been buried yet, and going through all this range of emotion. And I look on television and I see, and that clip that put out wasn't made, and it wasn't in, even if it wasn't in the right context, it looked wild. And I don't feel a certain type of way because of Snoop, who's never had the best language, who says bitches and hoes and everything. I'm not surprised that he was very angry that someone talked. Well, he deemed somebody was talking about his friend.
Right.
Now, everybody else who don't have that same personal connection, you just cussing because you mad and yelling and screaming because. It's like when your mama said you can fight if somebody say something about me. Oh, I can. Right. Oh, we got the green light to act bad. Well, fuck Gayle and fight out and fuck this bitch. Like, come on, man, relax with some of that shit. I thought that shit was distasteful.
Yeah,
but
it's Snoop. I just take that shit with a grain of salt. I mean, he say what he said, and he drop a new single 2 days later. Like it's just Snoop Dogg. He playing the game.
Right.
I would hope my friends stick up for me like that though.
Yeah.
Like in real life, like regardless of whatever shit that come out in the media, whatever the story is, because oftentimes the story that hits the media in any event is probably not the actual thing. Mm-hmm. So I wonder about this all the time, especially because we been doing a pod and people listen. I be thinking like, if a wild ass fucking headline came out about me, like some weird wild shit, would people who know me, would they stand by me?
Right.
Or were they going to take the narrative and be like, man, I don't know, Jay was tripping, man. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, who, when shit hits the fan, is you still a fan?
But that's a bad time to find out if your man's shaky or not.
It is. But I'm going to stand by my folks. Or I'm going to shut the fuck up.
I mean, we was talking about that yesterday. Yeah. Like, we have a segment like called Whose Mans Is This?
Right.
Like, ride or die. Like that's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not like on no joke shit. Like,
right.
It's funny that we can look back at it now, like Jay's birthday party. We had a good time.
Right.
You know, we had a really good time. By the end of the night, we was both a mess. But like, you know, if they was gonna kick Jay out the club, like they gotta kick we both gotta go.
Everybody
like the party's over. Like
right.
That's my man, $100,000. So I mean, I get it. You ride for your peoples. Good or bad. Yeah. And like you said, like I just hope like if something happened to him, I told him like if something happened to him and some wild statement come out, nigga, I'm gonna come out and say something even crazier. I'm just gonna take the heat off of him.
I was watching that old Tupac and Eric Gordon interview. Yeah. I don't know if y'all seen that one before.
I don't know.
One of the greatest interviews of all time.
I'm gonna have to look for
Definitely the greatest Tupac interview with him and Ed Gordon. And he was like, they basically asked him about the rape charge and shit. He was like, he said that shit is beyond, like, he didn't say beyond me. He was like, did y'all hear Brenda's had a baby? Did y'all hear Keep Your Head Up? Like, I made that shit, like, how dare you think so? How, like, my people should know. As soon as somebody say, I raped them, that you should know that shit is bogus. Like, I shouldn't even have to, and towards the middle of the interview, when he was talking about, like, somebody asked him, like, will you see yourself in 10 years? And he told him he just wanted to be alive. And they asked him about the answer. He was like, true. He's like, but I don't want to go like, I can't have motherfuckers around here thinking I'm a rapist.
Right.
Like, that shit is, I hope my friends and my family around will hear some bogus shit like, nah, that's not him. You're going to have to prove it to me.
Yeah.
Show me the tape.
That's so far off base. Like,
so.
Like, I always equate back, like, something happened to me in high school where a friend of my aunt told her something about me. And my aunt, you know, subsequently told my mother. Mm-hmm. Now, I had done a bunch of wild and crazy shit in high school. Like, I wasn't an angel by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
But, like, my mother also knew, like, her child. And, like, what other people were saying, she knew, like, yeah, I done did some wild shit. But what you telling me my son did, like, that ain't him. Like, you just got to have that. Sometimes, like, yeah, look, I know people probably say a lot of wild shit about me. I know I've done my fair share of dirt. Even to 38 years on this earth, I'm far from an angel.
Right.
You know, when the Lord called me home, there's gonna be some things I'm gonna have to answer for. But like, if somebody said, "Oh, Dame was a fucking murderer and a thief," like, I know Jay can stand up for me wholeheartedly and be like, "Nah, he was a lot of things, but he wasn't that."
Right.
Like, yeah.
We all need that person in our life.
Right. I hear you, man. And like I said, like, this is gonna be like probably the meat of the show, right? Because this is what people are talking about right now. Like I said, with Gayle, that whole thing, I don't know if I was as upset as everybody else was, because I kind of saw it from a different perspective. But it's also good to, like, be able to sit down and have a conversation with folks,
those is good,
as opposed to going at motherfuckers' necks on social media. Like, man, like, it ain't even that, like, to a large degree, some of y'all just like, it ain't even that deep. It
people
really
are so
ain't.
emotional.
there's that, and then like I said, and I just keep going back to this, the social media waves, man. Like sometimes you can sit back and just watch it and know how the shit is gonna play out.
100%.
And a lot of people, when you tell them that's what this is, they not gonna really be receptive to that. Like, so what you saying? I'm a sucker now? You saying I'm a fool? I fell for some shit? Like, nah, I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like, this is
a social experiment.
This is how the cycle works. Like, I know me, like, I know y'all more active on Twitter. My Twitter been suspended twice. I can, my feed refresh. I can see tweets. I just can't tweet nothing. So I mean, I get it. Some shit. Sometimes I feel like it's good that I miss out on certain waves because I have a knee jerk reaction to something. But now that I can't really like tweet it out, like I can just like sit it out because sometimes you just got. Everybody has an emotional reaction to shit. Like the first time you hear something, you just get emotional. That's just how we're built. Even if you want to say, "Well, I don't get emotional," like yes, you do. Everybody gets emotionally invested at some point, and that's the reaction that you tend to put out there. But when you reflect or take 10, 15 extra minutes because you want to be the first to say something, you saying the first thing you can regurgitate. Where if you honestly just took a step back, wait a half hour. Wait till you process the information and you feel a little bit differently. That's probably not going to be your same reaction. But we want to be first. Yeah, man. We ingest it so fast. Like I want to have that moment. I want to go viral. I want my 3 seconds of fame. You know what I'm saying?
People want that laugh. Why you think everybody wants to be a comedian? Right? Or say something funny. Is it something about the laugh that gives a certain... Because people want that fucking laugh.
No, they want them 30,000 retweets. That's what they want.
Even if it's not online, well, you would say an off-color joke. Like, I don't understand like why everybody wants to be funny.
I think people connect more with funny people, right? Like, there's a reason why you'll pay to go watch a motherfucker go up, stand up there and tell jokes. And people connect with them in a certain way. So, like, even take someone like Dave Chappelle, great comedian. Dave Chappelle will go up there and say something that'll offend some folks. Them same people that just like love Dave Chappelle's comedy are gonna ride with that dude to the end because he made them feel good.
Yeah.
And so because he made them feel good, like you got a certain connection with those types of folks. Same thing with Kobe Bryant's basketball. Kobe Bryant's basketball made people feel a certain way watching him play. And so when anybody comes at him a certain kind of way, yo, man, I feel a certain way about that because that's my guy. He embodies something about life that I want for myself. And so that's why you get those visceral reactions the way that you do. So, yeah, man.
Kobe Tug is something so different. Not just to put, like, athletes up on a pedestal, but, like, you know, we all close to around the same age. I remember the feeling that like Jordan gave me. You know what I'm saying? Like Kobe was that. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to like him as a personality wise. What he did for basketball, he picked up the baton right where Michael Jordan left it.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I'm saying? And he continued to elevate his game. And even him after he retired, what he was transforming into that, you know, it wasn't like the bitter old man. It was like your cool uncle that like he want to see you make it to the he want to see you make it to the league. He want to see you be successful.
Right.
And just that teacher that he turned into, like he was still giving us the best of him.
Right.
I think a lot of the backlash that Gayle got this week also came from it was like some shotgun Oprah shit. Because people are not happy with Oprah, and that's your homegirl.
Yeah.
And Oprah allegedly or we've been on some fuck shit, so this looked like some fuck shit, and y'all best friends, so fuck you too. And we got the hate that people got for Oprah right now. It went to Gayle.
Right.
What's up with you and Oprah? Not like you and Oprah, but like how you feel, how everybody's coming at Oprah right now.
To a large degree, man, I think some of it is just like people not necessarily knowing everything that Oprah represents, right? So like just like the whole idea of like fuck Oprah right now. I think 50 was one of the first people to kind of push that narrative out, like, yo, fuck Oprah. She out here like she's just, being disrespectful towards black men. She's tearing black men down, and then you can run down the thing with like she didn't do no thing about Harvey Weinstein. They was friends. I
think it was Ice Cube. The first fuck shit that she did was Ice Cube.
Which one was that? Because I know her and 50 actually had they had a coming together at a certain point.
It was Ice Cube, and I think it may have been Ludacris. Because she like invited the cast of a movie, Crash, and she invited everybody except Ludacris.
Yeah,
and she had a whole thing is that she won't bring rappers on her show. And I think maybe Ice Cube was the first rapper to go on Oprah or some shit like that. But I know it was some shit. But
I think Ice-T was on Oprah at one point because they were talking about like the music, you know, like the explicitness of the music and all this other shit.
But when she had Cube on, that wasn't for no music.
No,
that was
it
like a movie. He was,
but like that was a thing, and people, that was like when she kind of ruffled the feathers of the quote unquote hip hop community. Because like, oh, you don't like us.
Right.
We've been supporting you.
Right.
But the women were still on board. But like, that was the first thing. It was like, Oprah, why come I can't come on? Because I'm a rapper.
Right.
I'm acting.
Right.
Like, give me my just due type shit.
So I think, you know, like going back to that though, and then compound that with the lack of, especially now because of the Me Too era that we're in, and you're seeing all these stories come out about all these dudes in the industry. And there's the feeling that Oprah is focusing more on black dudes who are a part of this, you know, or being accused of the Me Too stuff. So you got the what was that, Leaving Neverland documentary that she was a part of, where she interviewed the two dudes who accused Michael Jackson of touching them.
Right.
You got the documentary that was supposed to be coming out about Russell Simmons that she backed out of. And then there was the Gayle King interview with R. Kelly just last year. And so I know 50, just kind of going back to that, 50 kind of like linked all these things together, put a meme out on Instagram.
I hate it.
And when he put that meme out on Instagram, a lot of people just kind of like rode on that, right? And so when I looked at it, I was like, well, damn, like, did we forget that Oprah like put up like quite a few hundred brothers through Morehouse? Did we forget that Oprah done like put toward like $20-some-odd million towards the creation of the African American History Museum in Washington, D.C.? Like, are we forgetting all of these things because we're upset about this particular moment?
Are we forgetting that Oprah was a victim of sexual assault when she was a child?
Herself.
So it's very possible that I believe the Michael Jackson niggas?
Yeah. So when I saw a lot of the vitriol coming at them, I'm just like, man, I think y'all
they really lost it on this Mike Jack shit.
Yeah.
They was like oh my God, the Mike Jack shit.
So like, personally for me,
you'll never make niggas happy though.
You'll
never make them happy. No matter which angle she would have took, some niggas would have been upset. She can't win.
I don't get this angle though that people is getting, right? This, well, you going after all black men? No, R. Kelly and Michael Jackson.
R. Kelly did that shit.
Yeah, like it's R. Kelly.
I mean, it
is Michael Jackson. It's not that I'm going after black men and not white men. Harvey Weinstein, it's my man. But I don't. So my thought process is like, well, fine then. Y'all want her to be mean to Harvey. If she comes out and she's mean to Harvey, are we then ready to accept the documentary from Michael Jackson?
And are you then going to ask Jay-Z and Dame Dash to do the exact same thing? Because Paid in Full was distributed by Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah. Well, Dame slapped the shit out of Harvey Weinstein on the set because of situations like
but
that.
You know what?
But yes.
That's what I mean, right? So like we're not holding the same standard for like a lot of the guys in the industry. Like you could find pictures of all these dudes with some grimy motherfuckers.
We posted a picture earlier this week, and guess who the three people in here this picture is? It's Gayle, Harvey, and Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Like that's y'all.
Now, folks find like reasons to get mad at Jay-Z too, though. Now with the Colin Kaepernick thing and his affiliation with the NFL, like so, folks find that but they'll find their way. They'll find their reasons to be mad at somebody. But the vitriol that Oprah was getting for like the idea of she was just coming at black dudes, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, like understand this though. There's a whole lot of brothers who are successful, who are famous, ain't got their name in none of this shit. And you don't give those guys credit for that. Like, because you think that because these few names that have been coming out, like somehow you feel like there's somebody else's fault that anybody is paying attention to it. And I don't know if that's fair. Like, there's a whole bunch of brothers who are like, you've never seen them attached to nothing. You know what I'm saying? They've been rich, famous for the longest. Ain't never seen them attached to nothing. And we just don't really talk about it because, of course, it should be the default anyway. But like the idea that they're only focusing on these dudes, like, hey man, like real talk, y'all focusing on these dudes too because that's who we're connected to.
We know it's two people. No, I'm saying like the ideal of people like, oh, she only focusing on black men. No, niggas, these two people, and they two of the most famous and notorious niggas doing this shit.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry.
And it's not like you've never had a conversation before and you ain't accused both these niggas of doing what they've been accused of.
Man, everybody in the hood was talking about Kel.
Like we amongst family right now.
Yeah.
Like ain't nobody never said.
I sold the tape.
Yeah, ain't nobody never claimed R. Kelly's innocence or Michael Jackson. We knew them niggas was weirdos. We knew that shit.
Now,
come on, Spann. Like
this is it.
He been talking about Aaliyah for a long time.
Man, listen,
this
Lil
nigga,
Aaliyah,
Michael Jackson had a fax machine installed in a little kid's home.
Yeah.
So he can send faxes to him all day.
Yeah.
This is in the late 80s, early 90s. This nigga invented text messages, dog.
Yeah.
He invented picture mail. And he used to send pictures, hi, I love you, weird type of shit.
To the whole family.
Like, dog, that's not normal.
No, it's not.
It's not beyond me that somebody will believe these kids because of the weird behavior this man has displayed.
And if he wasn't Michael Jackson, if somebody in your neighborhood was acting in a similar fashion, you'd be like, hold on, man, y'all ain't going down to the Jackson house.
Facts.
You're not going down there. Fuck that.
They mad that she was going to be attached to the Russell Simmons doc. Fam, a woman is saying that, Russell, you forcibly raped me in your office, like over the desk. Like, that's not a hearsay. That's not I took this the wrong way. This was a consensual date type of thing. Like, there's multiple women, but one of them saying you forcibly raped me in your Def Jam office. You know what I'm saying? And then you step down from all of your positions, and then you move to Bali.
Now, my opinion when it comes to shit like Russell, I honestly feel like every person deserves the right to be heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like if you have a feeling and an opinion, you deserve that right to be heard. Now, do we have to believe everything that you say? Absolutely not.
But women deserve to be heard.
Women, men, like you absolutely deserve to be heard. Now, it's up to me if I want to believe it or not.
And so if there was a documentary, like off rip, we like, nah, don't give me no documentary. Talk about Harvey. That's some All Lives Matter shit.
Yeah.
Because when we screaming Black Lives Matter, you be like, but what about the white ones?
What about Jeffrey Epstein? Like, yo, they got to survive in Jeffrey Epstein coming out in springtime.
Yeah, but like, that being said, like Oprah, if your man is wrapped up in the same type of shit, maybe you should fall back from the documentaries though, because it sends a fucked up message. I'm not going to Oprah for my pedophile news though. I don't know how that started, or you know what I'm saying. But like, it don't look right when your homeboy is going down for some shit and you attaching your name to other projects. You blowing the spot up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand it's funny in the light, but all the hate, well, we ain't gonna talk. All right, fine. But are we not gonna address Russell?
Right.
Because to his own acknowledgement, you did every drug during this time frame, and you was high out of your mind through your book, how you was so high and did drugs and crack and coke and all this shit. Fam, it's not beyond me that you may have did some questionable shit.
Right.
And if there's a documentary or there's some investigation to be had, how am I gonna be a proponent for black women and women's rights in the whole 9 yards, and then a woman comes out and says this shit and be like, no, fuck that, that's Russell.
Just because of somebody that we like.
Right.
You know.
It goes right back to that too.
It's not, that's not fair.
I like him. So like, pay attention to this shit, pay attention to this other shit, because this shit here, that's my jam, and I don't want you fucking that up for me.
Right. That's kind of fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
That's how people are right now.
When that situation type happen, you need to fall back.
Like, take for instance, Ari Lennox. Just now, like with the whole Oprah, like she on the gram, like, or whatever she was at, like, fuck Oprah, fuck Gayle, this, that, and the other. And it's like, damn, fam, like, you was just on the Twitter mad as shit that somebody said you look like, a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, and feeling a certain way about the internet mob coming at you a certain way. And here you are doing the exact same thing. Now, granted, Ari Lennox is a younger young lady. I think she may be like 19, 20 years old or something like that. But it's just that whole wave thing that everybody kind of jumps on.
You know what's so hip, which is so wild, is that we coming at Gayle pretty hard.
Yeah.
We coming at Oprah pretty hard. Like, the internet has got Black Twitter got together, and they going really hard because they're mad that them two are not keeping the same energy with white accusers, accused or whatever. But we don't either. what white accused? Did we go this hard on Harvey?
Only when it became convenient.
Like, when did we go hard on all the other white accusers this hard? Because Oprah trended.
See, the thing with the white accusers, a lot of times, man, like the white accusers are only brought up to deflect from when we're talking about something happening within us, right? So, there was this meme that popped up with the Kobe shit. Kirk Douglas just passed away. Man was like 106 years old.
Yeah,
or whatever.
right.
And instantly, motherfuckers is like, "Yo, so y'all gonna ask about Kirk Douglas and his rape allegation from like 1925 or some shit like that?" Like, bruh, like you never gave a damn about Kirk Douglas, man. You never talked about Kirk Douglas a day of your life, but now it's convenient for your argument, so now you want to bring this up. And it's the same thing with Harvey Weinstein. It's the same thing with Woody Allen.
We'll be able to do this to the end of time.
All the time.
It's just tit for tat at that point.
It's the what about black on black crime shit that white people do to us when we start talking about police brutality. It's the exact same play. So yeah, man. It's been good, man. It's been good. I really enjoyed talking to you brothers, man.
Likewise,
Real talk.
For sure. We gotta have you. We definitely gotta have you on Shoptalk.
Indeed, man. Indeed, we can make that happen. But we're going to get on up out of here. But before we do, we got this thing we do at the end of the show because we got to highlight some positive shit at least once, man.
Okay.
So we got our champ of the week this week. Hold on a second.
The champ is here. 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 The champ is here.
All right, our champ of the week this week here at the Spann Report Podcast is none other than some white man y'all ain't never heard before, Ed McGinty. Now, the reason why Ed McGinty is the champ of the week this week here at the Spann Report Podcast is Ed McGinty was he's a guy, he's a white guy. He doesn't like Trump. And he's very vocal about the fact that he doesn't like Trump. So much so that Ed McGinty sits on a golf cart with anti-Trump messages all over his golf cart, right? And a Trump supporter decided to confront Ed McGinty about his golf cart and his attitude about the president. And that shit didn't go the way she thought it was going to go, man. It did not happen the way she thought it was going to happen at all. Let me see if I can pull this video up. Is there a video on this? It's just the article.
I saw the video.
Oh, man. Oh, shit.
I felt like I missed this, man.
Oh, shit. I thought I had the video to this. Hold on. Hold on a second, because this is the article. I'm going to read this article from thevillagenews.com. It says a well-known anti-Trump protester who found a threatening note on the front door of his village of Hadley home Wednesday morning wound up in a full-scale argument with a villager who confronted him later in the day. Ed McGinney of the village of Hadley was parked in his golf cart on the grassy area by Odell Circle with signs on his golf cart that read, "Trump is a sexual predator, Trump filthy pig, Trump compulsive liar, Trump bigot and racist, and Hitler and Trump exactly same DNA." You got the video?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, plug that in.
Oh, man. This sounds like this is going to get good real quick.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got that inferior product. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Inferior product? See? This is how I know these Apple people ain't about shit. It's a goddamn iPad. It's a goddamn iPad.
All right.
Oh, yeah. That's the new boy with the, you got the, all right, I like that. You got the USB-C. I give you that.
You have to take some of that back.
There you go.
I'm the one guy they can intimidate. You know, I'm right back in your face if you...
Oh, that's him talking about it. Let's see.
That sounds like a really old man.
He's a really old man. He had to be every bit of like 70.
All right, YouTube is on some fuck shit right now. Everybody got his picture and video up.
That's my friend.
Is that you?
Yeah, I posted.
All right, it's not working.
Oh, never mind. Yeah. Well, Ed McGinney, you the motherfucking champ of the week at the week.
What did I miss? Did Ed throw some hands?
Nah, so the Trump supporter lady pretty much came up to him. She videotaped him, and she was confronting him about the signs on his golf cart. And she said, "You shouldn't be able to say things like this about the president. I'm going to send this video to Donald Trump so you can get in trouble for saying these sorts of things about the president. Nobody should ever be able to say these things about the president. And I'm sitting there the whole time thinking, man, but y'all was calling Barack Obama like a lion African, though. Like, y'all didn't have the same energy about the level of respect the president is supposed to get when it was a black man sitting there. So, yeah, Ed McGinty, man, just off of the strip, you like, man, fuck this shit, man. Your man's a liar, okay? Your man's is a sexual predator. Your man's full of shit.
You're stupid. You called him. She was like, have you not been reading? Are you dumb?
Yeah, she was just not ready, man. She was not ready. So yeah, Ed McGinty is the champ of the week this week here at the Spann Report Podcast, man. But we getting ready to get on up out of here. But before we do, Jay, Dame, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you fellas, man.
Funnel everything through the podcast, man. At Shoptalk Podcast, at Shoptalk Podcast Studios. Any way you want to get in touch with us, that find it through there. We want to channel everything through the podcast pages. If you add it, you're going to get in touch with both of us. So
facts. Shoptalk Podcast, Shoptalk Podcast Studios. We see the blue and the black. You know where you at.
All right. Now, before we get up out of here, of course, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us here at the Spann Report Podcast. You can hit us up at the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Leave us those emails, and of course those emails will get read here live on the show as well. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow your man Spann. Chop it up with me throughout the week. 5-star reviews on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. If you leave less than 5 stars, we ain't fucking with you like that. So leave them 5-star reviews, man. Also, hit us up on the website, www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we put one up. You can leave comments there. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And, of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network. Also, hit us up on our store. Get yourself some merch. Get yourself a nice T-shirt or a coffee mug or some shit, man. It really does help the show. Keeps the ball, keep the lights on and everything else so we can keep this ball rolling. But we going to get on up out of here. Thanks again to the Shoptalk Podcast guys, Jay and Dame. And we're going to get on up out of here. We will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.